Do you feel like you have a problem with inflammation and oxidative stress, or too much oxidation in your body going on because of free radicals? Or do you feel like your liver is getting stressed from all of the work that it has to do to detoxify and break down all kinds of toxic chemicals and compounds in the body to keep you healthy? So what the liver needs in order to do that is a compound called glutathione. You may have heard of that. So how your body produces or uses glutathione has a huge impact on all of this, the inflammation, the free radicals, the oxidation. So we're going to be talking about that today. So there is a gene called the GSTP1 gene, and that is all about how the body makes and uses glutathione. Now, if your gene has a particular SNP or SNP, which means that there is either a protein missing or it's added there in that gene with this GSTP1 gene, then if there's that variant in the gene, then that means that your body's going to have a more difficult time breaking down the oxidation and the free radicals and dealing with the stress and the inflammation from that and using glutathione. So you're going to want to stay tuned with what I'm going to be sharing with you about ways that you can strengthen your body in using glutathione so that your body's making enough of this. Because if you don't have enough glutathione because of lifestyle, because of diet, and if you have this gene SNP, then you run into problems. So I'll be sharing some notes with you of things that you can do with your lifestyle with nutritional supplements, whole foods. So take notes. And if you like this video, then share it with others. Follow my work. I'm always doing videos about health-related things, holistic health, natural healing. And this is part of a series going through 18 different genes whose SNPs are impacted by how our body's impacted by these gene SNPs. So they are a reflection of actionable genes. So what are actionable genes? They are the things that you can take action in with your lifestyle, your diet, your mindset, your emotional makeup, that have an epigenetic effect on how the gene expresses. Now, this is very important if you happen to have this gene variant within the GSTP1 gene, which affects your glutathione levels, which means that just because you may have this characteristic in your gene, it doesn't mean that you are bound by problems related to low glutathione. If you have your genes mapped, which you can do, and if you want that done, then let me know. I can give you information of how you can find out or have a test done to see what SNPs you have in your genetics. So these are things that you inherit from either one or both of your parents, which if they are continued in a weakened state, then they make you more prone to physical problems and diseases. So it's very important, or becomes a valuable tool for you to know what SNPs you have. So actionable genes, as I mentioned, are genes that have action about body functions that you can do something about. Other genes that are not actionable genes would be things that determine your hair color, your eye color, the tone of your skin, your height, things like that. So what we're talking about in this series with the 18 SNPs is actionable genes that you can help to improve your health. Okay? So glutathione is one of the most potent antioxidants found in human cells, oftentimes in the liver. It can act alone, but most often works in conjunction with other enzymes to break down toxic chemicals, so that they are no longer toxic, and then the body can get rid of them. The GSTP1 gene is very effective, or has a large role in reducing oxidative stress, which is creating rust in your body because of free radicals that like free molecules, or I think it's oxygen, I think, no, it's just free radicals, or molecules that are loose or not attached to other atoms that are not attached to other molecules. And so they roam around in the body, kind of like ping-ponging and ricocheting off of other molecules, and it disrupts the shape and the function of the molecules and creating problems with them. And then that sets you up for a type of oxidative stress and creating rust in your body. So we don't want that. That's something that contributes to aging. So the glutathione really helps the body in dealing with this, as well as the inflammation that can result. When you have this SNP that affects the glutathione levels, and your glutathione levels are not optimally managed, then you are much more prone to chronic diseases, including neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, and macular degeneration. So none of those are things that we want. So we want to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves in this regard. Okay, so I looked up some more things about this gene to give you some idea about what it's about and things that you can do to help manage with it. So the GSTP1 gene really influences the risk of getting asthma, especially in childhood. So if you have this SNP and you're not careful with it, then you've got to really be careful with asthma, or with children getting asthma. People with this SNP can really benefit by eating a lot of cruciferous vegetables and making sure that they're getting enough vitamin E, because those are very crucial in the process of detoxifying and breaking down all of the free radicals and all of the problems that result from oxidation. So cruciferous vegetables are things like broccoli, kale, cabbage, bok choy, Brussels sprouts. So make sure you have a lot of those in your diet. People with this gene SNP are also at a greater risk for breast cancer, especially if they are not eating enough cruciferous vegetables. And if you have enough vitamin E in your diet, then it helps with the anti-inflammatory, lowering the inflammation in your body as a result of oxidative stress. Okay, so this gene is in glutathione. It's a family of enzymes that play a very important role in detoxification of certain products like xenobiotics or xenoestrogens, which are in products everywhere, and food products that really mess with your estrogen levels, create all kinds of cancer and problems in your body, so that you don't want to have them. So you want your body to be able to break those down very effectively, which glutathione helps, as well as breaking down carcinogens like heavy metals, herbicides, solvents, pesticides, steroids, and other harmful pathogens. The GSTP1 gene is primarily located in your brain and lungs. Hence, if that's off, if the levels of that's off, then it puts you at more risk or prone to get the neurodegenerative diseases I mentioned earlier, like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And this gene helps, or the glutathione helps, linking the toxic compounds linked to glutathione and make them inert. This happens in the liver, and then from there the body's able to flush them out of the body through the colon and eliminate them. If people have variations of this gene, then they can have too much of a toxic buildup, and then they're using up their glutathione too fast to deal with that toxic load, and that creates some exhaustion and oxidative stress and other complications. So if you have this SNP, then you want to minimize your exposure to cigarette smoke, charred food, herbicides, fungicides, insect sprays, industrial solvents, and toxic metals, like I mentioned. Because all of that is going to make problems for you if you don't take care of yourself. It's good to have enough glutathione so that your body can make precursors to other there's precursors or cofactors that the body needs to make glutathione with, so that you can have the proper levels of them. And those are a lot of amino acids, which I'll go over in a few minutes, so that you can look for ways that you can bring those things into your diet. And there's also certain foods, I'll go over that in a minute. Okay. So Dr. Mark Hyman, you may have heard of him. He's fairly well known in the health and wellness arena, especially in more alternative or holistic health. And he's written an article about glutathione from his experience in dealing with it, both personally as well as in his practice. And so if you'd like the link to this article that I'll be sharing with you, that from what Dr. Hyman has said, then just let me know and I can link it with this video. So he says that in his practice, he always tests for genes having to do with glutathione production and metabolism, because they are so important, and the enzymes of the glutathione family are so important to allow the body to recycle and detoxify all of these harmful substances. Nearly all of his very sick patients are missing this function or this gene variant. Nearly 1/3 of our population that suffers from chronic diseases is missing this essential gene, the GSTP1 gene. So if you're one of them, then this could be very helpful information to you. Hence, the need to have your genes read and mapped, or genes read, to know what your SNPs are. And if you want information on how to do that, then contact me. So 20 years ago, from the time of writing this article, then Dr. Hyman experienced mercury poisoning and suffered from chronic fatigue for quite a while. And he discovered that his glutathione function, or rather the lack thereof, was not enough, and that contributed a large measure to his sickness. So his body eventually broke down and he got very ill with this mercury poisoning and chronic fatigue. And so he's learned from firsthand of how to take care of himself and make sure that he has adequate glutathione levels. And so from that, then he's sharing some of his insights with this. So the importance of glutathione in protecting against chronic illnesses. It's very critical for one simple reason, in that it recycles antioxidants. Now, antioxidants are the compounds or chemicals in produce, fruits and vegetables that give it the color of red, green, oranges, blues. So those compounds are the antioxidants, which help the body break down oxidation and deal with these free radicals, these rogue atoms that are wandering all over in your body, causing havoc and creating cellular rust in your body, which you don't want. So glutathione is very critical for this. So having free radicals in your body is like handing off a hot potato from one person to the next to the next. They get passed around from vitamin C to vitamin E molecules to lipoic acid, and then finally to glutathione, which then cools off the free radicals and recycles other antioxidants. And so once that happens, then the body can shift and change that glutathione molecule with its toxic compound, so that the body can metabolize it and eliminate it from the body, and then recycle the antioxidant compounds or molecules. Problems occur when we're overwhelmed with too much oxidative stress or too many toxins, which in our society today, it's very common because of the hideous diets we have, all the chemicals in our air, in our food, in our water, in our skincare products, the cleaning products, in our home environments, everywhere you go. there's a lot of toxic, harmful chemicals, and so the body becomes overwhelmed with that. Glutathione production is maxed out to deal with all of this stuff, and if you have this SNP or this gene variant, then you're just making a lot of problems for yourself, or you can be, if you don't do things differently with how you care for yourself and how you eat. So when you have too much oxidative stress, too many toxins, then the glutathione becomes depleted, and then we can no longer protect ourselves against the free radicals, the infections and cancers, and we get even more toxic load. Then our immune system is compromised because of having to deal with the cancer and the infections. And so you've got this downward spiral of degenerating health or compromised health. So the glutathione molecule and enzyme is very critical with all of this process and keeping us healthy. Okay. Glutathione is one of the most critical and integral parts of your detoxification system, which happens in your liver. And in this particular case, or with glutathione, that it's the most active in the phase 2 detoxification processes of your liver. Now, I'm not going to go into too much of that because that's like this chemical nirvana for nerds. So there's just a lot of chemistry that goes on with that. So if you're interested in understanding more about the liver's detoxification processes, the phase 1 and phase 2, you can go look that up. But glutathione is very critical for the phase 2 part. Because the toxins stick to glutathione, which carries them into the bile and then into the stool and then eliminates them from your body. And lastly, glutathione helps us reach peak mental and physical function. So when you have higher glutathione levels, or adequate ones, then you decrease muscle damage, reduce recovery time, increase strength and endurance, and help boost your metabolism from fat production to muscle development. So it's very important, and again, keeping your body healthy and running and vital, have enough energy to do this. And so exercise regularly comes into play with this to help keep your glutathione levels up. So if you haven't gotten out and moved today and created some sweat and done some aerobic exercise to work your heart and your lungs, then get on it, because that will help you with all of this. Okay. So you want to keep yourself healthy by boosting your performance, preventing disease, and aging well, and it all depends on glutathione levels. Okay. It's also very critical for the immune function and controlling inflammation. So as we know, inflammation is one of the core causes of a lot of diseases and health problems. And when there's a lot of oxidative stress, there's a lot of free radicals, there's a lot of rust being built in your body, then that sets the stage for inflammation. So the glutathione, again, is the body's one of the main detoxifiers and antioxidant, protecting your cells and helping make enough energy metabolism so that you can run and function and do all your things that you need to do. So there's a lot of different things food-wise and with natural lifestyle things that you can do to help keep your glutathione levels high. Primarily eating glutathione foods and exercising, and you can take glutathione boosting supplements, including glutathione itself. However, the body will just see that and break it down like any other protein. What would take you further down the road, so to speak, or be more advantageous for you, would be to supplement with nutrients and cofactors that help with the building and production of glutathione as well as the breaking down of it. And I'll talk about those in a few minutes. Okay, so there's 9 tips that Dr. Hyman shares about optimizing your glutathione levels. A couple of them I've mentioned already. I'll just kind of touch on them again. The first one is to consume sulfur-rich foods. Things like garlic and onions, the cruciferous vegetables that I mentioned earlier, like broccoli and kale and collards and cabbage and cauliflower and watercress. Those are all very helpful. And the second option, or second tip you can do, is look for bioactive whey protein. Now you want to do bioactive rather than just inert. So that has a bioactive whey protein is a great source of the amino acid called cysteine, which is helpful for building glutathione. So what makes this most effective is having the whey protein being bioactive, which is made from denatured proteins. So denatured proteins are proteins that are still in the right configuration of the molecules, are arranged right in the way that they were made by nature or in the animal, rather than being broken down and structured in a different way, which makes a denatured protein. Is this been messed with in the production process, so that it's not a real, the form of the molecule isn't right anymore, and so the body has a difficult time even recognizing it and reading the information of it, let alone assimilating it and using it. So don't bother with that if you're making sure that if you can do the whey protein, that it's from a bioactive, where the protein has not been messed with. Additionally, you're going to want to do your research in the source of the whey protein to make sure that the cows that the whey came from were cared for in a humane way, that had a quality of life, a quality of diet, their actual real diet, rather than some GMO hideous diet loaded with hormones and pesticides and antibiotics and chemicals and garbage that makes the animal very sick and weak, which is of course going to affect the quality of the whey. Plus, why would you want to invest and support a company or any type of industry where they're just so abusive and horrific to their animals? It's just not right. So really look into that. Okay, the third tip from Dr. Hyman to boost your glutathione is exercise regularly. Get some aerobic exercise going where your heart and lungs are well oxygenated and you're breathing good and you're strengthening your muscles and your whole body, and strengthening and boosting your immune system, which helps. Exercise helps boost your immune system, and it also helps with the detoxification process. So get out there and move regularly. All right. Another thing, then the next few things you can do is take glutathione supporting supplements. Let's see, before I jump into that, let me make sure that there's, okay, I'm just going to touch on a few other foods that are helpful for glutathione, like onions, leeks, garlic, Brussels sprouts, radish, arugula can help with all of that. Milk thistle is an herb that's been used for a very long time to support the liver health, to reverse liver damage and liver disease, and that really helps boost glutathione levels, where the liver has such a large part to play in the breaking down of the toxins and the free radicals and everything. Then you want to make sure that your liver is healthy. Selenium is very important. And also the mineral of zinc. Zinc and selenium are both very helpful for maintaining good glutathione, as well as helping the body recycle it, so that breaking it down and recycling it so it can produce more glutathione. Alpha lipoic acid, and this is something that helps with blood sugar control, helps brain health and detoxification. The body makes it, and you can, but yet giving all the stress that we're under, sometimes we can become depleted with that, and then that's when it would be good to help the body by supplementing this, because that is one of the things that the body uses to make glutathione. Another thing is a compound called N-acetylcysteine. And this has also been used to help treat asthma and lung disease. And again, it helps with the production of glutathione. Okay, so I'm going to read some other notes of a few other things that you can use for glutathione. And these are going to be specific more for the liver, for making sure that the liver is strong and healthy. There's herbs that can help with the detoxifying process and liver health. You can use them in detoxification teas or various tinctures and mixtures of herbs, and they are burdock root, licorice root, ginger root, dandelion root. These are all very helpful for the liver. Sarsaparilla root, an herb, cardamom seed, cinnamon bark. You can use citrus peels or consume them, caraway and dill. Bioflavonoids, which are the compounds that give grapes the purple colors, as well as berries. They're also found in berries and citrus fruits. Cilantro is very helpful in breaking down and eliminating heavy metals. Also, rosemary is a great detoxifier. And turmeric and green tea. So you can consume all of those, or make sure that you have those all in your diet as a way to support your liver in all of its functions, which include all of the things of glutathione. Okay, chlorophyll from the dark green leafy vegetables and in wheatgrass is also helpful. Celery and vegetable juices like carrots, celery, cilantro, beets, parsley, and ginger. Those are all very helpful in supporting the liver. You want to make sure your vitamin C and E levels are good. There's a lot of foods that are high in those, and so you can go look those up, as well as you can do some supplementation if you feel you want to go that route. Also look at the essential fatty acids, the omega-3s and 6s that you get from flaxseed oil, hemp seed oil, fish oil. Make sure you're having enough of those in your diet. That also really helps with liver function and liver health. Okay, a few other things. And now these things are specific for the phase 2 detoxification of the liver, which glutathione plays a large part in. Vitamins B2, B3, B6, and B12 are very helpful for many things, and in this particular case helps with the glutathione and the detoxification process of the liver. You also want to make sure you have a good range of amino acids, all of the amino acids. Cysteine, N-acetylcysteine, which are things that I mentioned earlier, as well as methionine and taurine. Those are other amino acids. And glutamine, orthonine, arginine, glycine. All of these are very helpful for the detoxification process and the glutathione. So make sure that you're getting good quality protein, not necessarily a lot of animal protein, because that could cause its own problems, but just good quality proteins, plant-based proteins, so that you're getting the full range of these amino acids. You can also look towards blue-green algae to help with that. So those are a few ideas. And then lastly, I wanted to share with you a list of essential oils that you can use to also support your liver and the glutathione and all of this. So based upon the quality of the oil and where you source it from, you can use them as nutritional supplements, meaning you can use them internally in your food prep dishes, in your soups, your salad dressings, your sauces, your smoothies, your teas. So if you get a clean, good quality, high quality, pure essential oil, then they're wonderful supplements. If you can also use them topically to support your liver. And those are ginger, licorice or fennel. Actually, licorice comes from fennel, so you get fennel essential oil. Cardamom, cinnamon bark essential oil, citrus oils, caraway essential oil, dill, and rosemary essential oil. So those are a few suggestions to help you in taking better care of yourself, especially if you know that you've got this gene variant, this SNP, that impacts your production and use of the glutathione, critical antioxidant in your body that helps break down a lot of toxins, a lot of free radicals, oxidation, all of the stress, everything that keeps you healthy and strong and vital into a good old age. So if you like this video, please share it. I'd love to hear what you took away from this video, things that stood out for you the most, that you can apply in your life to improve your health. And as always, if you'd like to have your genes tested to see what SNPs you have, then make sure you reach out to me and I can get you that information so that you know exactly, specifically, if you have this gene SNP or this variation in any of the other of the 18 SNPs that affect the body's functioning, that could set you up for risk for health problems and diseases. Okay, so great information to know, great resource so that you know how to take care of yourself better. All right, and with that, then let me know your thoughts, share this video, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.